Okay, guys, grade 8. Today, inshallah, we're going to continue what we started last time. Last time, we start in lesson 1 of chapter 13. We talk about substances and mixture. So, last time we start talk about or classifying substance, and we said substance, or in an alternative way called matter, that anything has mass and volume. It could be classified into element or compound. Who can remind me what the meaning or what the difference between element and compound, guys? Yes, Nano?
element اللي هو لوحده.
What does it mean then?
معرفش.
So, yes, Hannah Hamdi?
element can have only one atom.
One atom? Only one atom? Or one kind of atoms?
One kind of atom.
Yeah,
sorry.
so element, it's a substance that made of one kind of atoms. Okay, good. While compound?
It can have two or any more than one kind of atom.
Yes, so it's a substance it made of combination of two or more types of atoms. Okay, so like these guys, we could figure that compound is just a kind of chemical bonding between different atoms. Like for example, we said chlorine, that is a gas, it's an element just made of chlorine atoms only. While for example, water is compound that made of combination between hydrogen and oxygen. Okay. Then we said
Okay.
that what is mixture? Who can tell me what is mixture? Yes, Reem?
Substance that are blended but not bonded together.
Yes, blended but not bonded. That means they are physically combined. Yes.
Yes.
So we say that mixture. Always remember, once we talk about mixture, that once you make the dish of salad, okay, so we said you are gonna pick different types of vegetables like cucumber, tomatoes, lettuce, blah blah, as we discussed in the session, and you are gonna cut them and mix them together in one dish or one plate. Put them in container. But actually, after you add them in the container, each substance is still as it is. It doesn't result in a new substance. So they still the same, which means they just physically blended or physically mixed, but they don't bond to form a new substance. So that means there is no reaction happen in mixture. It just physically. Each component of the mixture is still keep its own properties and easily to separate them. And also we said that mixture could be mixed in different ratio. Okay, that's mean in that dish of salad you can just put one cucumber piece with a lot of tomato, a lot of lettuce, and it's still considered as a mixture. If you add more or less of any substance, it's not a big deal. You can mix them in any ratio. But in chemical reaction, we said reactants should react in a specific ratios. Okay. For example, in once hydrogen react with oxygen to produce water, it means two of hydrogen must combine with one of oxygen. I cannot change this ratio. It's a fixed ratio. But in mixture, whatever, mix any substance in any ratio together. You got the idea, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
here, then we said that, or the last thing we stopped at, as we can see here, we classified mixture into main categories. What are the two main categories of mixture? Who can tell me? Is Judy?
Okay.
Hetero?
Mixture دي.
Heterogeneous? Heterogeneous.
Yes, mixture and homogeneous mixture.
Yes, good. Heterogeneous mixture and homogeneous mixture. Who can tell me what the difference between homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture? Okay. Let's see. Yes, Maya?
The heterogeneous, the mixture is not evenly mixed, but the homogeneous, it's mixed evenly, but the atomic level is not bonding, not bonding
Yep,
together.
that's good. So the homogeneous mixture, it's the mixture which have the same outlook, okay? That means it's hardly to distinguish its component with the naked eye. That means look the same. I cannot figure what are the components. Like when you dissolve salt in water, the salt completely dissolved, completely hide within water particles, but I can't not distinguish the salt in the water. It appears to be like just water, okay? But actually, once you taste this water, you're gonna find salt, which means the salt is still found, but I cannot see it. But on the microscopic level, you can see it, okay? So like this, we call this a homogeneous mixture, the mixture that you cannot distinguish its component or its component is not obviously clear, okay? While here in the other one, the heterogeneous mixture, that the mixture which clearly you could observe its components, like when you add some sand in the water, for example. So you're gonna find that the sand is suspended and settled down at the bottom of the beaker or the container which you put the mixture in. So Well, previously you could see the sand and the water. So like this, that heterogeneous mixture. So simply put in your mind the mixture that you could distinguish its component, that is heterogeneous mixture. The one you cannot, we call it homogeneous mixture. And we said actually the homogeneous mixture has an alternative name, which is, or we can call homogeneous mixture, we can call it, oh no, yes, Kindi?
Solution.
Solution. Okay, good. So we took homogeneous mixture as solution. Okay. So like this, okay, that's what we stopped at, or that the last part which we said in last session. Today we're gonna continue our lesson, okay, to this figure. We ask, how do compounds and mixture differ? Somehow you know the answer, or while you are just discussing with me right now, answering my question, you could figure out the difference between compound and mixture. So who can think, or who can tell me what do you think, what the main difference between mixture and compound? Yes, Fadia?
Compounds يعني more than one element that are bonded together by a chemical reaction يعني
Good,
that leads into chemical reaction, but
good,
mixtures are يعني physical mixing of some substance which يعني was
brilliant.
physical change, not a chemical
Yes,
reaction.
good, brilliant, Fadia. Thank you. So actually, as we all of you said, or all you predict, mixture is just a kind of physical change. We just physically blend the different components, which is still keep their own properties. They do not lead to formation of new substance. Okay, so like that's it's a mixture. While we said compound, it's a result due to a chemical reaction in which two or more substances they are gonna react, which means they're gonna break a bond, rearrange of atom, formation of new bonds, and lead to formation of new chemical substance with new chemical properties that are completely different than the properties of the reactants. So here, simply as Fadia said, that means mixture represent a physical change, while compound represent a chemical change. So like this, as we said, the properties of compound can be different from the properties of the element. That means, for example, chlorine, okay, that is a green gas which is poisonous, but once it reacts with sodium, it forms table salt. So they are completely different because it's a chemical reaction. Sodium, silver, shiny metal, chlorine, green poisonous gas. Once they combine together, they make a chemical reaction, forming a bond between sodium and chlorine, creating new chemical substance, which is sodium chloride, NaCl. That is a table salt. It's white and it's not poisonous, and so they are completely different. But mixture, it doesn't produce new substance, or there is no difference, okay, of the properties. The components keep its own properties. Also here we could find here, because the substances that make up mixture are not bonded together, so it's easily to be separated. That means I could easily separate the component. Like imagine if you have a dish of salad and they ask you to just pick up the cucumber from this dish, it's easy, you could pick them up like this, you could separate the mixture. While usually compounds are hardly to be separated. Like for example, when I ask that you have, for example, NaCl, sodium chloride. Could you separate it into sodium and chlorine? Actually, it's a hard process, very hard process, and even some compounds hardly to be broken down or decomposed. So it may doesn't happen. So like this, okay, that's a big difference. So the first, all chemical or compound, it's a result of chemical reaction, which means a new substance is formed with new properties, while mixture is just a physical combination, no new properties. Mixture could be easily separated, while compound hardly, or it is not able to be separated. Okay, so here like this week, so let's see, we could use different properties of substances to be able to separate substances in a mixture. What does it mean? For example, if I give you a cup of salty water, which means salt dissolved in water, and ask you to separate them, it's a mixture, it's a solution or homogeneous mixture. If I want to separate it, just mean make the salt alone and the water alone one more time. Can you do it? Anyone know
Yes.
how we can do it?
Yes.
How you
Evaporate the water. ماشي.
Good, evaporate the water. So here you are playing on one of the most important physical properties, which is the boiling point. Okay, simply water could evaporate faster or at temperature lower than the salt could melt. So simply by heating, once the temperature reach 100 degrees Celsius, the water start to evaporate, turn into vapor. Okay, in which you could collect it by condensation, and the salt is still, this heat is not enough to melt it, so it will deposit at the bottom of the beaker or the container you are working on. So like this, you separate the mixture here, depending on one of the physical properties, which is the boiling point. Another example, if we just give you a mixture of iron fillings, that means the powder of iron, and some sand, could you separate it?
No.
Sand,
No.
لا
what?
yes
How could you separate it?
بس without يعني
We can't.
You can.
we can
Just
get
think.
مش عارفة اسمها ايه
By using a magnet.
we
مش
can
both
get اللي هي
If you get a magnet, the magnet will
الطول دي
attract
بتاعت اللي هي
the magnet will attract all the iron powder, but the sand not. Yes or no?
Yes.
So like this, you used another physical property like magnetism. Okay, so magnetism is one of some materials are magnetic. That means they could be attracted to magnet like iron, and the others not. So like this, I could separate that mixture by using a magnet. Okay, so that's another physical property which we use to separate. For example, another example, if you have some sand in water, okay, so could you just separate them?
No.
No, you can.
yes لا
Any
yes
mixture can be separated, Judy.
How يعني؟
How? Just think. Anyone have an idea?
اللي هي الطول دي بتاعت ال separation between
Mister,
water
can you
and
repeat
Separate the
عشان
sand from the water?
Again? Yes, Reem,
يعني
what do you
how
say?
can we separate the
by
sand
مثلا
from the
to
water?
filter something
Yes,
مش عارفة.
filter. Good filtration. We have something in lab called filtration paper, just a small paper that contains very tiny holes, allow small particles to pass, but large particles not. So simply when you just pour, okay, or just gonna pour the water and the sand to this filtration, the water molecules, because it's liquid, it's too small, could pass easily through the filtration paper while the sand will be collected. Like refinery, like what you are doing in your home, okay? If you want to just separate some solid from liquid, like for example, you are washing some rice in your home, you are gonna cook rice, and you want to separate the rice from water,
yes
you're gonna put it through refinery, yes or no?
yes
So the same
No,
idea
it's
by
not.
filtration, just filtration, we're gonna filter it. The same idea, the filter you are that using to filter water in your home, it should have this kind of waxy candle inside, okay, which have tiny holes, allow water to pass, clear water, but actually the impurities or bad things stick to the surface. You get it here?
yes
So here like this, so that's mean any mixture could be separated by different ways. Why mixture could be separated? Because the component of the mixture don't have the same physical
Exactly.
properties. So some will be bigger than others, so I could use filtration. Some could be evaporated faster than the others, so I'm gonna use boiling or evaporation process. Some of them they could be has the magnetic property, others not, and so on. So like this, we could separate the mixture. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so here like this, let's just find or just wrap up these guys. So we see that matter, it is anything that has mass and volume. Okay, mass, that's mean the amount of substance or the amount of matter in that object. And also we said that volume, that means how much space is it occupy. And we said the substance or the matter could be classified into element or compound. Element just one kind of atoms, while compound two or more kinds of atoms are bonded to each other. Okay, so then here we said that the mixture could be okay, or mixture could be homogeneous or heterogeneous. Homogeneous, which means it's have the same outlook, appear uniform under microscope, while heterogeneous, okay, it's uneven mixing, which means the component easily could be distinguished. Mixture could be in ratio, mixture could be separated easily, it doesn't lead to formation of new chemical substances. Okay, so like this, any hard question here, guys?
No.
No.
Like this, okay, we just finished our lesson. Let's try to answer the following question. What are the two types of substances, guys? We could classify substances into. Okay, just let's see who raising your hand. Okay, Hannah Durgan.
C.
Okay, so the answer is C, elements and compounds. True. Okay, then let's do the next. Which term refers to mixture in which substances are not eventually mixed? Okay, guys, let's see who can answer this. Yes. Okay, Maya.
A.
So heterogeneous mixture, good. Let's pass to the last question. How can substance that make up a mixture be separated? How we separate the substance of a mixture depending on what? Yes, Fadia?
D.
D, by using the physical properties. Good, guys. So any hard question regarding to this lesson?
No.
So like this,
No,
we
thank-
finished the first lesson of chapter 13. Please study 12 from your textbook and answer the lesson review. We're going to discuss it inshallah next Sunday. And if you have any question, I'm waiting for your question. Thank you guys and goodbye.